Before we get into today's video, I want to let you guys in on something. So I'm looking at my phone right now, and just this week alone, I've gotten 3 spam phone calls from places claiming to be my bank to get information out of me. It's been happening a lot lately, and I'm sure it's been happening to some of you guys too, which is why I want to introduce today's sponsor, Aura. If you ever wonder how so much of your personal information gets into the wrong hands, the answer is because there are data brokers out there whose job is literally to sell your personal data to spammers, robocallers, and really anyone who asks. And they make an insane amount of money doing it too. There is a way to stop them though. You can contact the thousands of data brokers out there and go through the data removal process with them, but that's a lot of work. Aura makes this process so much easier. It automatically identifies data brokers exposing your info and submits opt-out requests on your behalf. You don't have to do anything. I use Aura and it's been great. It only took a minute or so to set up, and then it started working instantly, automatically submitting data removal requests while notifying me of leaked data. And Aura can do a lot more than this. They have an antivirus tool and a VPN feature to protect you from the online threats that you can't see. It's super easy to set up. You don't need to download a bunch of different apps or anything to get all these features. You get it all at one affordable price. So let Aura do the hard work so you can relax and stay safe. So what's it gonna be? Let people exploit and profit off your personal information, or do something to protect yourself? Go to aura.com/ScareTheater to start your 2-week free trial. Link is also in the description below. On an ordinary night in Russia, an elevator camera caught a very peculiar event. For those of us that can't speak Russian, no worries, we're not missing much dialogue. The man in the video is simply screaming, "Help me," and Nastya, presumably the girl's name, repeatedly while he's freaking out. After this struggle goes on for a bit, the woman seems to have surrendered control of the situation and walks away. Am I the only one getting slight Elisa Lam vibes from this? I initially found this video from a Reddit post from 2021, where a user posted just a single frame from the video and hopes to find the full thing. In no time, someone provided a link to an article on the Russian site Fishki, which contained the full video and a very sparse number of details. And by sparse, I mean literally 2 sentences. All we learned from this is that the article suspects substance use to be involved here, which is reasonable. But despite the video being so short and relatively uneventful, there was soon a lot of speculation that would raise questions about some disturbing details. Less than a month ago, this video resurfaced again on Reddit, this time getting over 33,000 upvotes. The title on this one made a few more assumptions, the first of which being that this is the result of a bad trip, just like the other article did. But they also added in the detail that the woman he was scared of was his girlfriend. Once again, at this point, all we really had was this video, and any details associated with it were just pure speculation. But it wasn't long before people started to really overanalyze this and came to some very dark conclusions. The comment section of this thread quickly became filled with people claiming this story was much darker than the title made it seem. Their claims were all basically identical. These 2 people were not a couple, but were actually siblings. On this fateful night, this girl, Nastya, was fed up with her parents and decided to violently take their lives. He walked in on her right as she was finishing the act, and what we are seeing here is the aftermath of the situation. It's a scary story, sure, but no one really provided any evidence that this was actually what happened. They likely got this idea from the Fishki article we looked at earlier, because a lot of the people over there have been leaving a lot of comments with the same claim. To be fair, some people did eventually try to gather more supporting evidence for this theory that was greater than just, "Trust me bro." People noticed that there was what appeared to be blood on the girl's sweatshirt. This still isn't really conclusive though. First of all, we don't even know if this was blood, but let's be generous and assume that it is. It could have been from anything. Especially if this was the result of some panic attack inducing bad trip, it wouldn't be unreasonable that one of them accidentally hurt themselves. And of course, you can see this is such a small amount of blood, not the amount you'd expect from someone who just brutally unalived their parents. Now don't get me wrong, this is a super interesting story, but this probably is not what happened. There's a good chance this would have gotten some news coverage we would have heard about by now if that's actually what happened. There are much more realistic possibilities that have many more things to ground them. Another popular theory that we've already touched on was that these people were on something that caused them to act in this manner. This mainly stems from speculation, but it definitely seems possible. There's another Russian article about this that quotes one of the residents from this building as saying, "Salt addicts have raised everyone's ears with their shouts and screams." Once again, it's not 100% conclusive, but this seems to be what the people who were actually there thought happened. The final theory I've seen circulating about this is that while the man in this video was not in a good state of mind, it was not due to substance use, but rather mental illness. Some people are saying this was an individual who was having a schizophrenic episode, causing him to freak out like this. From what I've seen, this information appears to have been gathered based on the wording a few Russian web articles used when discussing this. One of which mentions that he saw Satan in his girlfriend, while others make references of him seeing a hellish demon. Given that this had to be translated from Russian, it's not super easy to say whether this was a mistranslation of some kind of metaphor, or if they're claiming he was actually experiencing delusions like this. The best thing we can do if we really want an answer to this is to go back as far as we can. The earliest source I found that covered this incident was a now removed article from the Russian website Yarn News. It was posted on May 31st, 2021, which, according to the elevator footage, means this was posted only a day after the incident occurred. According to this, the yelling and screaming we witnessed started at around 11 o'clock p.m. on a Sunday night. The names of these two teenagers are Danya and Nastya. The substance abuse theory once again seems to be what most people are assuming here based off interviews with the residents of the building. According to one of the residents, this was only the beginning of what would be a whole night of obstructive noisiness. But no reports of corpses or anything wild like that. In the end, the answer is rather mundane. Just a couple of kids being little shits. This video was recorded in China on July 6, 2022. The woman is returning to her apartment, followed by her daughter, but unbeknownst to her, something awful is about to happen. After the door slams shut, we're left to our imagination about the horrors that are happening in the other side of that door, leaving us with nothing but the sounds of screaming. About 20 minutes later, the man walks out of the apartment to do something with the circuit box before returning. A separate video of the encounter would later show the man leaving the apartment for good hours later. This video that seems like something straight out of a horror movie first started circulating on a Chinese blogging website called Weibo with the hashtag "Mother and daughter went upstairs and were dragged away by a man in a raincoat." The Chinese police reacted very quickly, giving us this statement with some more details. The man in the raincoat is named Zan. He was previously married to this woman, but the relationship didn't work out, leading to her wanting a divorce. Gee, I wonder why. He seems like such a nice guy. Their divorce finalized 1 month before this event occurred. After Zan dragged the woman and her daughter into the apartment, he begged for her to remarry him. After her refusal, he waited until the daughter was asleep, which was at around 10 o'clock p.m. While the daughter slept, Zan brutally essayed this woman for hours. 5 days after the incident, Zan was arrested and faced with charges on home invasion and SA, which carries a sentence of up to 10 years in prison in China. After what we just witnessed, I think 10 years is way too light of a sentence for someone like this. I don't think I'm alone in saying this person is a danger to society, and if he's ever freed from prison, he will hurt someone again. I think a life sentence is much more fitting. On May 6, 2021, the residents of a city in China called Sanya witnessed something that they would never forget. This 41-year-old woman was recorded dancing on the edge of a balcony from the 25th story of a condo. Shocked by such a dangerous stunt, people reported this to the management of the condo, who promptly sent someone up to that room to see what was going on. One thing to take note of here is the presence of this masked man who is also standing in the room. We will talk more about him later. The employee, somewhat trusting her judgment, hesitantly left her to do her little TikTok video or whatever. This, unfortunately, did not seem to be the right call. Shortly after this happened, the woman would be spotted falling to her doom from the balcony, leading to an intense investigation of the event where many of the questions have still gone unanswered. The first thought that occurred to many was that this was just a fatal accident. After all, a lot of people do stupid things to try and go viral, and this wouldn't be the first time something like this has happened. It appears she genuinely was recording a video, since in some shots of her dancing, we can see the masked man from earlier recording her. However, in the video where she falls, the masked man does not appear to be present. It is entirely possible that she lost her footing, and with no one there to help her, she had no choice but to fall. This seems simple enough, but a discovery was quickly made that would make things a lot more complicated. When investigators searched the room that she was in, they discovered a note. This is an alleged picture of that note. It translates to, "At the end of my life, I have two last wishes. The first is that I willingly donate my healthy organs to a kind and grateful person to fulfill my dream. The second is put my ashes into the blue sea." With this in mind, it makes the whole thing look like it was planned. Now, it's important to keep in mind that this note has not been verified to be the real note. A lot of people are suspicious that this was fabricated. A reporter from Myuu News asked the staff of the Tianya District Joint Command Center if they could verify that this was the real note. The operator responded that one of the officers informed them that the contents of the note did mention something about scattering ashes into the sea, but they weren't sure if the note in this picture was the real note or not. So at first, this looked like an accident, and now it looks like she planned this. But even then, there are things that don't really add up. According to the note, if this is the real one, she wanted to donate her organs. If this is the case, jumping from the 25th story of a building is a really strange method to choose. And then there's the fact that she was with another person in that room, which makes the details even more complicated. The woman who fell obviously can't give us any insight into what happened, so the next best thing would be to question the masked man that was with her that day. Unfortunately, he did not stick around too long, and no one has been able to identify him. Which brings us to our next theory, that foul play was involved. A lot of people suspect that the man in the mask had something to do with this. The main thing people found suspicious about him was that when the police went to investigate the scene, he was nowhere to be found. This is an intriguing theory, but this seems like one of the most improbable ones once you take a look at the facts. In the room that the woman fell from, there was a takeout order that was left for him and the woman. The receipt had his name written on it, which would be inconsistent with someone committing a homicide, who would probably want to get rid of anything at the scene that could identify them. That, coupled with the fact that in the videos the citizens took leading up to the fall, the man didn't seem to be present, make this very unlikely. This puzzling event still has people perplexed to this day. Chinese law enforcement has not been too open with their investigation, leaving many people in the dark. The wild speculation spread by many has even taken wild turns into people claiming this is part of some type of supernatural ritual or cult ceremony in which she was putting on this performance to attract the gods and then jump from the balcony to transcend to them. It gets pretty crazy. The fact is, no one truly knows the full story of what happened. The only person that could shed some serious light on this would be if we could hear something from the masked man that was in the room with her, but I seriously doubt that's gonna happen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.